And welcome back. You're listening to Life Unrehearsed. Matt Del Vecchio here. Did you know that today is World Hearing Day? In fact, World Hearing Day is held every year on March 3rd to raise awareness on how to prevent deafness and hearing loss and promote ear and hearing care across the world. I have Heidy Wager in studio with me. Heidy is the Executive Director of Here Entendre Quebec. Heidy, welcome to Life Unrehearsed.
Thank you so much for having us. We're so happy.
Well, thank you for coming in. Really, timing was good. March 3rd is a
Yeah,
Sunday, and
it's
Life
perfect.
Unrehearsed is every Sunday, so it worked out very well. So maybe some statistics first, Heidy. How prevalent is hearing loss?
Well, 38% of Canadian adults experience some degree of hearing loss. The World Hearing Organization says that 1.5 billion people globally have some form of hearing loss or affected by hearing loss. And they predict that by 2050, that'll be 2.5 billion people, approximately 31% of our population.
It's unbelievable. I had no idea it was that high a percentage. And
It's huge.
so glad we're getting the word out here because World Hearing Day is today. What's the message that World Hearing Day, what's the message that wants to get out there?
Yeah, so really looking at hearing healthcare overall and what that means for the individual person. There's a lot of misconceptions out there. So really trying to debunk the myths and bring about more truth and facts, raise awareness about what you can and can't do. The first one is that hearing loss is only for old people, and that's actually not true. Anyone can get hearing loss at any point in their lives.
Yeah, it's not just an old person issue.
No.
In fact, one of my most memorable interviews was with a young man. He had a cochlear implant as a baby, and he was, I think, 11, 12 years old and being interviewed, and it was just fantastic. You know, so
Absolutely.
it's multi-generational,
Yeah.
and with those numbers that you're talking about, a large percentage. So how, because you mentioned part of what the World Hearing Day is the
Yep.
overall health, destigmatizing a little bit. So
Yep.
for example, what are some signs of hearing loss? We might not even recognize that we're losing some hearing.
Yeah, I think we adapt as we grow and we start to lose our hearing. We don't realize it. But a good sign is if you can't hear in background noise. I can't go to a restaurant, a noisy restaurant, and talk to somebody across the table and hear fine. My hearing loss is already in effect. And so that's a good pickup sign. Your TV remote constantly going up, that's another sign. Maybe there's a lot of miscommunications between you and your partner around words like deaf, depth, depth. Those are very common misunderstood words. And so if you start to feel like you're having these, miscommunications a lot with people at work or at home, that's another sign. If you can't hear somebody from the other room or if the faucet is running, again, there's that background ambient noise going on. Those are good signs that something's going on. The other thing is if you hear ringing in your ear, that is not normal. That is a sign that something's going up. You need to go see a doctor. Go ask your GP for more information or get them to check into it. So ringing in it, or if there's discharge coming out of the ear, we don't just do home remedies anymore. Those are really things that you go and see a hearing health professional about. It's really important.
Listening to Life Unrehearsed, talking to Heidy Wager, the Executive Director of Here Entendre Quebec. It's a really interesting, some signs there that I think quite a few people can relate to. Now, you talk about overall health. Are there prevention techniques, Heidy, that we can do to prevent hearing loss?
There's a lot of misconception around hearing loss that it is something that we're just going to have to get. And that's not true. We can prevent it. I am an avid motorcyclist, biker, whatever. I also drive a Jeep. I keep my top off in the summer, so a lot of wind. I've learned after working with Here Quebec for so long that I need to wear earplugs. I went to a concert last week. It was amazing. That's dangerous amount of noise level for a long period of time. Wearing earplugs definitely helps reduce that and helps me for long-term keeping a hold of whatever hearing that I still have. Making sure that you go and get your hearing checked. I've already had my hearing baseline done, my audiogram done. If you suspect that something's going up, don't wait. Push for it, advocate for yourself, get a hearing test done by an audiologist and actually see what's happening with your hearing. The more knowledge you have, the better able you are to make decisions. If you don't want to go and get a hearing audiogram done, at least get a screening. They're free everywhere. They're offered everywhere. There's online screenings you can do. At least it'll start to help you to kind of identify. Use your apps on your phone. Apple has a great app where you can like check how much you've been listening to your headphones for how long, and it tells you what's dangerous. Be mindful of the noise that you consume on a daily basis.
You know, I had a client today, just a couple of hours ago, and it was a lovely couple. The gentleman was 90 years old, and we had a wonderful conversation. And it was for an hour, and probably at around the 45, 50-minute mark, I realized he was wearing hearing aids. I had no idea, but he was hearing me perfectly. And this is all, I think, a result of technology, not just hearing aids, but in general, technology has advanced quite a bit with helping hearing loss, hasn't it?
Yes. So the biggest myth is that hearing aids are expensive and they don't work. And actually, in Quebec, we are really, really fortunate. We lead in this in the rest of Canada. RAMQ covers most hearing loss when you're prescribed a hearing aid or a CI. So we're very, very fortunate. And the hearing aid technology is like going through the roof. There's Bluetooth technology. It's easier. You can adapt it to your phone. They're even creating hearing aid technology now that will watch your heart rate and will notify you if your heart rate or if you fall. Untreated hearing loss is very, very dangerous for people. And so using hearing aids is not just for hearing health, but it has other benefits as well. So hearing aids, CIs, even now, we were talking in the studio before about AI captioning. Accessibility is far more accessible now for everybody to use, and it makes the world in which people with hearing loss live barrier free, and it's inclusive, and it's really, really, it's a fun time to be a part of it because it's changing so quickly, and it's just becoming more and more inclusive.
Yeah, talk about inclusive. When we were talking prior to the interview,
Yeah.
on social media, I try to post on social media, and she
Mm.
goes, "Matt, are you using captions on your video?" And I go, "No, I'm not." And shame on me. It's not that difficult. Everyone should be using captions in video. And there's an example of technology, not necessarily hearing technology, but making it easier for those with hearing loss.
Yeah, it's a big, big mandate for us at Here Quebec. It's something that we've been striving for the last 3 years, is to make our community and our environment for people who have hearing loss be way more inclusive. And through our Include Me programs and our Consult Me programs, we've been working with the whole community, City of Montreal, the off JFL community, arts and theater within Montreal, just to use simple free things that you can do to be inclusive. Obviously, there's more layers to inclusivity and accessibility, and it takes some level of financial commitment, but there are basic things that we can do, like adding AI captioning to all of our posts. We won't post it unless it's accessible.
You are doing so much good work at here Entendre Quebec. So
Thank
if
you.
our listeners need to find out a little bit more about your organization, where should they go?
Yeah, so you can find us everywhere on socials and our website, herehere.org. And we also have an accessible cell phone number. It's 514-797-2447 for people that want to text.
All right. So just to please repeat the website, herehere.org.
.org. That's
right?
correct. Yes.
All right. Well, thank you very much. You are doing wonderful work for the community and for those with hearing loss. And again, I think what I love the message here is there's a stigma. I think people with hearing loss are thriving more than ever now in society, and it's getting better. And it's due to a lot of the efforts that you're doing it here on Entendre Quebec. And let's get the good word out. And appreciate you taking a little time here.
Thank you.
All right. That's Heidy Wager. She's the executive director of Here Entendre Quebec. All right. Next week on Life Unrehearsed, the growing trend of compassionate communities with synergies between communities and the healthcare system. And in honor of International Women's Day on March 8th, the one and only Gina Cody, for whom the Gina Cody School of Engineering was named at Concordia. She's going to be joining me, and such an honor to have her on a special International Women's Day. Thank you very much for tuning in to Life Unrehearsed. As a reminder, for all your inquiries or assistance with life transitions, home care, and the senior living industry, it'd be my pleasure to help. You could find out more if you look up Lianas Senior Transition Support. That's Lianas, Lianas. Lianas Senior Transition Support. Many thanks to Demetria Kritsi-Demas and Dario De Felice. Thank you guys for putting on a great show today, and you can listen to Life Unrehearsed here on CJD 800 every Sunday at 4 p.m.